Many times I have people come into my office and the damage to the car looks very minimal. And the insurance company is going to wave those pictures around at me and say, well, how can your client be permanently injured when you can barely see the damage to the car? The client's still complaining about neck pain, back pain. They're injured. They're legitimately injured. Those cases, they can still be worth a lot of money based on what your injuries are. Number one, there's nothing that says that if a picture of car damage doesn't look bad, then therefore you are not injured. That has nothing to do with what the pictures of the car damage looks like. But the insurance company, their goal is to pay you as little as possible. And so if the damage to your car looks minimal, that's their best argument they're going to use. You bet your bottom dollar they're going to show the jury the picture of the car damage. And by the way, so would I as your lawyer, because there's no hiding it. It is what it is. And that's a fight that we have to have on your behalf. We always want cases where the damage looks terrible and it's easier to prove. We also take those cases that are harder to prove because your injuries are just as valid as anybody else's because they're real and it happened to you and you cannot control what the damage to your car looks like. Insurance companies, they fight us about everything, right? One of the things they like to bring up to us is, well, you know what, Mr. Jaspon, your client didn't go to the emergency room right from the scene, and they didn't get treatment the same day or the next day. And they use that as an argument to try to minimize the value of your injuries, as if you didn't go to the hospital, then your case is worthless. And that's not true. A lot of these people don't want to deal with a doctor. They don't want to deal with insurance companies. They don't want to deal with any of it. And so what they do is they try to power through and say, you know what, let me give it a few days. Maybe I'll feel better. I've seen cases where it's a week, 2 weeks, even a month has gone by. Some people try to be heroes and then they just can't deal with the pain anymore. That's not ever a good idea. Don't be a hero. When I'm dealing with these insurance companies, they look for every reason they can to try to minimize the value of your case, to try to give you as little money as possible for your injuries. Well, Mr. Jaspon, your client waited 2 weeks to get treatment. How much pain could they really have been in? They didn't complain about anything at the scene. There's nothing in the law that says if you don't go to the hospital from the accident scene, then your injuries are worthless. There's a 2-year statute of limitations. You can get treatment at any time. Insurance companies, they don't interpret it that way, but it's completely reasonable. Having said that, you are going to have to get treatment. You're going to have to get MRIs and things like that so we can prove what your injuries are. Number one, you should do that for your health, right? We want to know what's going on. As your lawyer, as someone who needs evidence to prove a case, I'm going to need that from the doctors to be able to prove either to the insurance company or ultimately, if we had to file a lawsuit, I'm going to need that medical evidence to prove your case. I have a lot of people come into my office and they tell me, Jeremiah, I'm not the kind of person who sues people. If somebody were to run into you and injure you, they pay for insurance to cover them. The reality is you're really not going after the person who hit you. The fight is between us and their insurance company. So when we file a lawsuit, 99.9% of the time, even though the lawsuit is against the person who hit you, we're going after the insurance company. We're going after the insurance company's money. The insurance company does not feel bad when they take your money every month. You shouldn't feel bad about pursuing a case, a righteous case where you truly are injured. There's nothing wrong with pursuing the insurance. That's the agreement that the insurance company has obligated themselves to and that they've agreed to. The fight comes into play where, as an example, let's say you have a case that's worth $100,000 and the other party, the insurance company, is offering you $10,000. Nobody wants to file a lawsuit, but in that situation, we are left with little choice. We have to fight for that which you are rightfully owed. And I always say, if insurance companies did the right thing, I'd be out of a job, but they often don't. I'd be happy to sit down and talk with you. We can help you in that kind of case. Give me a call.